Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks. I wish I had time to do this more. I love drawing like this. It is so easy, and if I can draw it, you can draw it. Let's actually make the blue white now and make it really pop. So easy, just a couple of things to think about. Draw a perfect square, and then draw a line between the two. I've made a couple of videos on this, but not to this way. Now I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool. I'm going to fill that in with gray and I'm going to nudge it over. And I like having that gray there. It kind of uh, helps you draw without worrying about some things. And if I can draw this, you can draw this. I'm going to, you could use the Smart Drawing tool. You could use the Live Sketch. I find just as good with the freehand tool as long as you set your smoothness on 100. And it doesn't matter where you start on this half of a triangle, just start drawing shape. I think the only thing you need to kind of think about that you want to get back to that line to close the deal, to close the object. And like I said, you could start anywhere on this and you don't have to come back to the same spot. We could go across, completely across it and just, make some weird shapes. And then you could even come up here and I don't think you could go, you know what? Why couldn't you go in the inside? We're going to try that. Might not work. But, think about nothing. Just kind of draw lines and make some shapes. If you've got pretty good hand mouse coordination, which I have pretty good because I do a lot of mouse work, but and because it's set on 100, so like that sharp point I don't like. So I'm going to take my shape tool and just delete that node and maybe just bring that to there. And then you could add circles, which I don't really think is that cool because it's uh, kind of geometrical shape, if that's such a word. But you could get really fancy, like you could come in here and make some kind of uh, trying to make like a I don't know what I'm trying to make. Almost like and then, just kind of fill in the spots. That's kind of the key, I think, to make it look filled in. And, I'm starting off the page. You don't have to start off the page. You could start in the middle. Here's what I was trying to make like a curly Q. And because the fact that you're set on 100, it's going to smooth those out. And you can smooth them out more. But I just wanted to show you how cool this is. Now, like right there, I started kind of off the page, so I got to come back, and I don't like that. But I could take my shape tool and just delete that. And matter of fact, I'm just going to delete all that and start over. That's what's so cool about Corel. You can just change your mind, and I think you don't really have to close the nodes as long as you're off. I'm really thinking now, as long as you're off the page, you wouldn't have. You could do that, and but you need to see. I've got a whoop-de-doo there, what I call a whoop-de-doo, that would work probably, but if you're going to cut this out ever, you don't want that. And come in from the top. See, I don't think you have to close it. I think it is going to help, but you could go back in here and add more. Now, take your gray item and nudge out of the way and group these together, Control G, and then nudge your gray back. Select both of them and go intersect. And that's what that did. Now left click, right click. Now here's what you kind of have to do. You have to take this one, Control D, and mirror it. You have to mirror the faces so they'll be even. And then you can Control D and you're going to mirror the face again. Pretty weird effect. We'll be lucky if it gets rid of those lines by the weld tool, and it did. That's a really totally different one. Now it's welded together, so let's just rotate it 45 degrees. And now you cannot just nudge this over. Let's, matter of fact, let's make it smaller. You can't just nudge over, you have to mirror over, because that side's not going to fit this side, but Control D, and then you mirror it over. I'd go ahead and weld it every time you get a chance to. This is going to be kind of crazy. Control D. But you can just keep going and then grab it all and weld it. And then if we're really, really lucky, we can just select it and make it that blue. Take away the outline. You never know what you're going to get. I mean, that's pretty unique and easy and fun. Anyway, have a little fun with that. Thank you for watching.